Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Talking Rangers podcast. This is episode 30. Today is Saturday, April 20th. We are a little over 24 hours away from the New York Rangers and Washington Capitals Game 1 first round series. Playoffs are here, 16 wins, and hopefully a Stanley Cup, but the road starts here with a first round matchup against the second wild card in the Washington Capitals after taking home the President's Trophy. We'll preview all angles of this matchup. Joe, how's it going, man? Playoff hockey has finally arrived.
Dude, it's the best time of the year, bro. I'm excited, man. Excited, nervous, all the good stuff. So we got a little over 24 hours, but it's gonna be fun, and hopefully at the end of or whenever it is, middle end of June, we'll be hosting Lord Stanley. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
playoff hockey is the most exciting sport, I think, especially if your favorite team's in it.
Yeah, I'd agree. The playoff hockey, I think, is out of all the four major sports, definitely has the best postseason. Just the energy, whether you're there or watching it on TV, it's awesome. And even, of course, when your team's in it, it's great. But even just watching playoff hockey when you don't have a dog in the fight, it's also a lot of fun. That nervous excitement, I think, is what a lot of fans start to get here as you kind of get in this 24-hour range. One more sleep before Sunday kicks off tomorrow. So the Rangers will face the Capitals. Just some quick numbers here right off the bat. Of course, the Rangers were the President's Trophies winners, finished 55, 23, and 4, while the Washington Capitals had a completely different road to the playoffs. They kind of, I don't know if you want to say sold a little bit at the deadline. They didn't do a whole lot at the deadline. Sold a little bit, of course. Evgeny Kuznetsov was traded. Not that he was a massive move by any means, but he ended up getting sent down to Hershey and then get traded to Carolina, where they were able to pick up Gensel and those type of guys. So they finished 40, 31, and 11. You also look at some more of the numbers. This is a team that finished with a minus 37 goal differential, which is just crazy. It was actually one of the worst in the NHL or in the East, or specifically the Metro. The only teams in the Metropolitan that finished worse than the Capitals were the Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Both teams that finished last, or the bottom two spots, or Columbus obviously finishing in the bottom of the Metro, Montreal obviously in the Atlantic. But when you look at a team like Ottawa, they actually had a better point differential. So it's crazy to think that. It's crazy to look at some of those numbers. On paper, this is a team that's not very good, but here they are. They're in the playoffs. What are some of your overall thoughts on this team or the Capitals?
Yeah, I mean, they're a little bit obviously past what they were. You know, they're not the Capitals from the 2010s where they were dominant, winning the President's Trophy every year. Ended up winning the Cup that in, I believe, 2019 or 2018. 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously they have a lot of these older veterans who, you know, probably are a step slower, past their prime. Yeah, maybe some of them have playoff experience, but not many. I mean, like I think three guys on the team or four on the team were on the Cup team. So that was like maybe Carlson, Ovi, Oshie, and then Wilson maybe. But I mean, three of those four guys are well past their prime, and not saying that they can't play good in the series, but they could. But I just think that, you know, they have a lot of these older guys who, towards the end of their career, definitely on the far end of the back nine of their career. I think for them it was just pretty good for them to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are expecting them to make it. Obviously, selling off a little last year, selling off the deadline, a couple guys, and Mantha, and then you mentioned earlier Kuznetsov. So I think that, you know, they're kind of just playing with house money, and I just don't think their roster can really put together a deep run. Like I said, they don't really have any of the intangibles you need for even an upset. I'm not saying they could beat the Rangers. I think it's hockey. Anybody could win, but
Yeah.
like I said, a little bit of an older roster, not very deep. They don't really have like that impact player. I mean, obviously Ovi was, but you know, he's not really the same player he is. A little bit, like I said, on defense, not great. The scoring depth is not great. If you could look at a bright spot, maybe Charlie Lindgren could play well, but I mean, I think there's a handful of goalies that take over him. But I mean, he could get hot and steal a couple games. But besides Lindgren, I don't really see like a real bright spot of this team. But again, they can grind you down a little. I give them that, and then obviously, a lot of people know you were mentioning they have a horrible goal differential, but
Yeah.
the thing about this team is they're able to win those 1-goal games, which is huge in the playoffs. I mean, I think they only have 2 losses in regulation in 1-goal games, which is a pretty impressive number.
Mhm.
So I think if they can shut the Rangers down and kind of keep those games close, they have chances to win games in the series. But I think all in all, I think the Rangers should be able to win this pretty quick, 4 or 5 games. And like I said, the Capitals are a team that, for the most part, are on the back nine of their career. Like most of the players, I mean, they have like 1 or 2 young guys. I mean, Strom's not that old. Sandin's not that old, but besides that, the main core guys are kind of past what they were.
Yeah, it's a team nearing the end. They kind of similar to, I guess, Pittsburgh in a way. They're nearing the end of their run, and they've got a lot of problems this season. It seems like Capitals are right around that time frame of a team that's kind of nearing the end. Of course, already had the cup. Ovechkin as well is not the same player he once was. It's crazy to think when you talk about this series. You mentioned Charlie Lindgren. It feels like the way they win this series is through Charlie Lindgren, not Alex Ovechkin. In all these years, you would have always thought going into every playoff series, it's all about Ovi for Washington. That's not the case this year. It feels like it comes down to goaltending. Charlie Lindgren had a couple good games against the Rangers this year, had a very good season, kind of broke out after really just earning the starting job over Darcy Kemper because he just played better. Like he just played better than him in this year, earned the job, earned the starting gig the rest of the way. You kind of feel like you mentioned the low scoring games. The only way they would win this series if Lindgren gets hurt, and that's part of just the roster getting older. Ovi's not quite the same guy. When you look at some of the numbers, they keep games in very low scoring. They actually got outscored in every single period this season, 79-64 in the first, 85-80 in the second, and 82-68 in the third. So this is not a team that is going to score a ton, like you mentioned. Low scoring games, they're going to find a way to win those. So for the Rangers, you got to get pucks past Lindgren because if you don't, low scoring games, it's going to favor Washington. When you look at the Rangers' perspective, we've talked about them, of course, all year. We know what they need to do. But what are just some of your overall thoughts on how they match up here against a Washington team? And of course, the keys ultimately come down to the core of this unit.
Yeah, I mean, for the Rangers, it's pretty simple. I mean, they have arguably the best pair of special teams. I mean, top
Yeah.
5, top 3 power play and penalty kill, and I think that's a giant favor. I don't think the Capitals are good on either the penalty kill or the power play. And then obviously, I think like we were saying, like Lindgren's a good player, but I think it's a huge advantage in net. I think they have an advantage in every aspect: coaching, goaltending, offense, defense, special teams. I don't think the Capitals really match up well at all. I mean, I think the one kryptonite, or I think there's 2 kryptonites for this team. One is if you play against a team that can bring a lot of speed through the neutral zone and force your defenseman to get caught on the blue line or force mistakes in the neutral zone,
Yep.
which that's not the Capitals at all, or a team that can play with decent speed, doesn't have to be a lot of speed, but then can kind of bury you and play physically or some physical hockey. And I don't think the Capitals really have that many guys where they're going to be able to kind of just come at you in waves of physicality. I mean, obviously, Ovi can still play physical. Obviously, Tom Wilson, but
Yeah.
I think those are the 2 ways to beat the Rangers. And I just don't see that happening. And I kind of see the Rangers special teams taking over this series early in the series. Like I think the Rangers will get a couple power plays in like game 1 or game 2 and kind of just take the game out of reach for the Capitals. But um, just as far as like the matchup like itself, like I said, the Rangers kind of are just going to play hopefully that down ice game, play well in the neutral zone, stay north south, and just pretty much come at the Capitals in swarms and just don't let the Capitals kind of get anything going in the offensive zone, suffocate them in the neutral zone. I think that's what kind of their game plan is, and just if you can kind of shut down that one line with like Ovechkin on it, who I don't even think has been great 5-on-5 this year, but I mean he still ended up scoring 30 plus goals. But I think the Rangers are going to stick to their game. Obviously, you got Igor and net. Make sure that special teams are great, and then I mean obviously going down in the playoffs and in general, you want to make sure that 5-on-5 game is able to produce. But I think in this series, you'll kind of see the special teams take over, and that'll probably be a big impact of it. But I think you can just be well defending and getting the puck down into your offensive zone in the neutral zone, I think that's huge too. I think the neutral zone can decide games, but for this series in particular, I can see more so the power play and penalty kill kind of taking control, especially with the Rangers.
Yeah, this is the Rangers, of course, their power play has always been that way. A lot of people have used the term, living and dying by the three in basketball. It's sort of how I guess the Rangers, you could throw them into that category of their special team, specifically the power play, scoring 5-on-4. And they got better this year with their 5-on-5 play, but they've never been known for that. And yeah, Washington special teams aren't great. Their power play ranks 18th in the NHL, and their penalty kill is 19th in the NHL at 79% kills. So they're not necessarily a team that's going to blow you away, either PK or on the power play, which definitely favors the Rangers. Um, is there any guy that you think I know we talked about this a little bit in the other episode, but any guy that maybe comes by surprise? Of course, like you talk X factors, not the obvious ones. If we always go back to the core of this team, they've got to show up. Of course, it always starts with Igor. If he dominates and is at the normal playoff Igor, then it's going to be really tough to beat this team in any round. Any other X factors that you see for this Ranger team? Um, we've talked a little about, Will Cooley, maybe some of those more bottom six guys I know we mentioned, but and then of course too, it also starts at the first line, obviously. Hedel, see if he's out there game one, what is your updated feelings on Hedel?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to play game one. I think that
Yeah.
they're kind of slowly getting him going in practice. I think there was a practice earlier in the week that he wasn't doing much 5-on-5 with the team. They were kind of giving those reps to Roslovic, but I think slowly they're going to kind of bring him in. And I think he's definitely going to play game one or two. And
Yeah.
as far as X factors, I mean, if he plays, he'd be by far the one that I think would be the biggest. I mean, just because of how well he is 5-on-5, and we're kind of talking about the Rangers look with a little bit of question marks on the 5-on-5, and I mean, Hedel is probably their best 5-on-5 creator on the team because of his speed, just like he can skate with the puck. So those are like two things that they don't really have for a lot of guys on this team, but he can do both. He can skate with the puck and he's got speed, and I think that he's something that I think they really could use on this team. And I think just in general, I've always said this that he's probably the best out of the three kids at Akako and Lafreniere, and it'd be huge to get him back. And I think if he came into the series, kind of gained, you know, his steps back and kind of got going again and got his feet under him, I think that that'd be huge for him to kind of get going. And then leading into the next series, hopefully, I mean, I'm not like guaranteeing a series win, but I'm just saying if you can get him going and back up to speed, he could be maybe the most important player on this team. I think that's how impactful he can be. And I think that people, I'd say outside of the Rangers, didn't realize how big of a loss losing Hedel was. And I think if you can get him back and get him going, I mean, if you look at the last playoffs, he was very good, or two playoffs ago, scored, I think, that big goal in Game 5 against the Penguins, scored the opening goal against the Hurricanes, ended up losing that game, but that's a big goal. And then he gets the two goals in I think Game 4 or Game 3 against the Hurricanes. And then, he gets the goal in Game 7 to kind of cap that series off. And then the two big goals in Game 1 against Lightning. So he's come through. He's been proven to being able to score in the playoffs. And I just think that if you can get him back healthy, I think who knows how far the team can get. And especially with him, I don't know. Maybe he leads the team in goals, 5-on-5 in the playoffs.
Hedel, it's possible. I mean, it's crazy to think that where this team was this year without him, and then to get him back would be even huge. You went 55 games without him. Of course, obviously he played a little bit, but majority of the season he missed. You get him back, that would be huge.
Didn't they
Potentially plug him up top line.
They went 72 games without him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he only played
10 games.
Yeah, so that's crazy. And credit to him again. Just the fact that he's back or practicing.
And people don't realize this too, or kind of forget. He started the season as, I mean, whatever line you want to say it is, but he started the season playing with Panarin and Lafreniere. So, obviously there was going to be big things in store for him this year. So,
you think that line would have been as productive or more productive?
I think it may be as productive. I think
Yeah,
he kind of, Trocheck's a really good player, and I think that he does things that Hedel can't do, like win faceoffs, maybe better defensively. So maybe they would have gotten a little bit less chances. but I think they would have scored maybe on more chances because I think he's a little bit better of a finisher than Trocheck.
Yeah, and driving the play.
Yeah. But I think there'd be
Yeah.
chances where they wouldn't get because maybe they're like hemmed in their zone, or maybe they don't win a defensive zone faceoff or an offensive zone faceoff. But I think it probably would even out. But I think that they would score more goals, but they would give up more goals. So yeah.
Yeah, it'd balance itself out. But
Hmm.
yeah, he'd be huge to get back. And credit to him for fighting all the way back. It seemed for a while there that he was kind of just done. So yeah, I mean, look, the Rangers, we talked about this in the last episode. There's no excuse here. You've gotta I think this series has got to be at most 5. I would say it's gonna be in 5 because I could see Charlie Lindgren and the Capitals stealing a game at home. It's hard to sweep. It's not easy to sweep. Um, there's going to be a game at home. I think the Capitals will win. Ideally, maybe that's game 4. So then it's 3-0. They take one game, you go right back to game 5, and you're back home. You don't have to worry about playing another game in Washington or in DC and having to worry about going down 2-2 or falling to 2-2. But ideally, you sweep. But I think it's 5. They're the more talented team, and this isn't no disrespect to Washington, but they're not a very good team. We just
Yeah, I
we
mean,
talked about it. They're not
it's
very good. They barely got in.
clear to see by
Um,
their point differential. So
yeah, exactly. And even Charlie Lindgren, as good as he is, Igor is way better than him. When Igor's on, he's going to be better than him. Neither special teams is very good. The Rangers are very good on special teams. Everything the Rangers do well, the Capitals really don't, as you talked about earlier. So I'd say 5. What do you say? I know we probably
yeah,
5 as well.
I'd say 5. I think they'll win in 5.
I think it's a disappointment if it goes to 6. No, I mean, look, if they win the series, but there should be no reason the series goes to 6 or 7.
I mean, I feel like it's in my like Rangers lifetime. I feel like there's been one series that I can recall that like didn't go 6 or 7 that they won. It was 2015 against the Penguins. They won in 5 games, and 2 of
Yeah.
those games were in overtime, so they were kind of close. But there hasn't been a series that I can recall that they just like kind of went out and took the series like right away.
Yeah, I mean, if we're really thinking about just over the last 2 years, over the core of this team, like with
Yeah,
this core,
they seem
this
to
is the
always go
easiest
deep.
first round matchup they've had,
This is
or
the
the
easiest one.
easiest matchup they've had out
Yeah,
of any of them.
yeah,
On paper,
definitely.
it's the easiest because even Pittsburgh, they had a battle back, and the Rangers that
Pittsburgh
year
was
too were
yeah.
a
Pittsburgh,
young. What do you say?
they were a decent team. They had a lot
Yeah,
of older veterans. Crosby took over that series,
yeah,
but yeah,
and the Rangers were also young. It was their first taste of playoffs, so you had Igor struggling on the road. You had some bumps in the road early in that series, so you kind of expected that. Every series, basically, you had the 2 game 7s back to back, so those were tough. Last year, obviously, we all know what happened with the Devils. This is really with this core. You even count the. This really isn't with this core, but you go back to even the bubble. Not that was really a playoff series, but even
yeah,
that, Carolina's a lot better than this. So this is the first. This is the easiest. Should be the easiest first round series this team has in a very long time. And I don't think that's being cocky. That's just
yeah.
the way it
It re-
is.
yeah, I mean, just like if you just look at like statistics, I mean, like we said,
Yeah.
they have like the worst like
Their
goal
their
difference.
goal differential is the only team in the Metropolitan that's worse. I messed up a little bit earlier on. In the Eastern Conference, the only teams that are worse are the Canadians and the Blue Jackets. In the Metro, the only team that's worse is the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets were the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and I also think that, like I said, I think the last team to have a worse goal differential than them was like to make the playoffs was like in the 90s. So it's been
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah, and Ottawa had a better goal differential than them. They didn't even make the
Yeah,
playoffs. So it's crazy. They also I mean, I know they finished over the NHL 500 mark, 40, 31, and 11, but if you combine the two, they lost more games than they won. It's just like
yeah,
there should be no problem here. No problem. No, don't get caught looking ahead. Don't take them lightly because they do have playoff experience, but shouldn't be too much of a stressful series. Ideally, you just go to DC for once, not have to go back there for a game 6. Any other closing thoughts here? Game prediction, goal scores. We should do goal scores actually,
but for the first like
because we'll do
4 games,
we'll do goal scores for the necessary 4 games. Because then we'll do for the schedule coming up, we'll do live streams after each game, and then we'll also have episodes out after each series, recapping and hopefully previewing the next series. Hopefully, 4
Hopefully,
series.
hopefully not.
Hopefully, all of them.
Hopefully not recapping the season after.
No, if we're
the
recapping
series.
the season after this, that's going to be a serious problem.
Might be the end of the channel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how you bounce back from losing to the Washington Capitals in round 1. I don't really know if there's any bouncing back from that. That'd be a whole lot worse than blowing a 2-0 lead to the Devils. So, goal scores. We'll start with game 1 tomorrow. You've been Barclay Goodrow. It's there for the taking.
I feel like I've said it, so I kind of have to do it. So yeah, I'll say
Barclay
Goodrow
Goodrow.
scores. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to.
Yeah, you've been hyping it up.
I kind of have to take it. I mean, yeah.
For game 1, I'll go. I'll just ride the Panarin wave. Why not? Give me Panarin. The playoff success hasn't been there. I trust him this year. I picked him the last 2 regular season games. Thank you for the recommendation. I picked
I
him the last
told
2
you.
regular
Yeah,
season games. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to keep rolling until it doesn't work. So I'll roll Panarin this game.
just keep
Game
on
2.
Panarin.
Should just go Panarin for all of them. It's going to should work at least 2 games.
All right. For game 2, we'll go. It's the game that I'm going to. So who do I want to see Barry win?
I think I know who you're going to pick.
I don't even know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with Vincent Trocheck.
Trocheck. I'm going to go Hedel for game 2. If
The
he
only
plays
thing-
game 1.
He's probably not going to play now because I feel like every time you said something that maybe not will play.
Well, I mean, that was like Chad Ruedel, though. I mean, that's.
There's like one time you did like Rampage, I think, or Cooley. You did Cooley, just didn't play.
Yeah, Cooley didn't. Yeah, he got scratched. That was just unlucky. It was the only time one game he missed all year. I picked him to score.
All right, fine. I guess Panarin, Hedel, I got Trocheck.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I guess I'll go Hedel.
I mean, yeah, you can't go back on it. Come on.
If he doesn't play, I have to pick somebody else, right?
We'll do that on the fly. We can change that. Or I guess fine. Just say it now. Just do it.
If he doesn't play, I'll go Kreider.
Christopher James.
Actually, just scratch all that. Just give me Kreider for game 2, not Hedel.
No Hedel.
I'm gonna go Panarin and then Kreider for game 2. No Hedel.
All right, getting the power play going here. All right.
Game. Here we got
game 3 that I might miss because of graduation.
Don't tell Rangers faithful about that.
Fuck. Let's see. I'll go with who comes up big on the road. I'll go. Yeah, I'll go Kreider.
Kreider's always a safe pick. I probably could have went Kreider in game 1. Didn't he score the first goal against Pittsburgh too?
The first goal of that series?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the Penguins scored first. Like actually, they
no. Adam Fox scored from like a wrist shot from the point on the power.
I know Kreider did score that game though, didn't he?
I think he scored the third goal of the game on the penalty.
Did he score the first of game 7?
Scored the first of game 7. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
because I remember him scoring and he was screaming. He was like,
yeah, he always did that.
Yeah,
he always like screams on his manager. Yeah, fucking weird ass relationship, but whatever.
So you said Kreider, okay. I'll go Hedel here. I feel like Hedel's got to be back at this point if he's going to play, and at this point he's already got 2 games under his belt. Maybe some of the rust is off. I'll go Hedel here. Game 3.
Thrill.
So Panarin, Kreider, Hedel. I like that. I probably could have waited one more to go for Hedel, but it's all right.
I did Kakko.
Game 4.
Kaapo Kakko is going to actually rifle one in overtime to win game 4, to win the series.
Game 4, I will take Lafreniere. We'll stick with the young guys. I'll take Lafreniere in game 4.
None of us took Mika. He'll probably score it now because none of us are taking him. I highly doubt
he'll probably score on a power play. They're gonna he'll probably score the first goal on the power play.
I will probably, it was probably stupid to take Gaudreau because he probably will not score. But hey, maybe I'll bet on him first goal scorer, Barclay Gaudreau. I've been saying, imagine that hits. I've been saying this for like months now that he's gonna score. He's gonna score in game 1. So
you stuck with it.
I got it. Yeah, I have to. I have to make myself look like a genius. Like when he scores.
There's no going back now.
when he scores in that game, I'll be like, yeah, I've been saying that for months.
No going back. Just got to keep it rolling.
He'll bury one. Prove me right.
Yeah, so we'll continue this if it gets to a game 5, 6, or 7. We'll kind of just go on the fly with the goal scores. But those are your first 4 games. And yeah, tomorrow 3 Eastern, ESPN, and of course all of them are on MSG. I know there was some confusion with that because the actual playoff schedule didn't show MSG, so but they are on MSG. Any other
Sam,
closing thoughts? Yeah,
Sam
Sam
Rosen will not be at game 1.
Yes,
He's
he
at
won't be a
his
game 1.
he's at like his granddaughter's like ban mitzvah. I think that's
Yeah,
how you say it. Or is
I
it?
think Kenny Albert's going to be doing game 1.
No, it's bat mitzvah. Bat mitzvah. Yeah. So we'll get
So,
Kenny A on the call. So
yep.
unless you want to watch the ESPN broadcast with Sean
No.
McDonough.
No,
He's
dude,
so bad.
you know what? I'll be honest. The biggest thing with this ESPN broadcast that I don't, it's not even the announcers or Ray Ferraro hating the Rangers. It's just the camera angles. They always switch
Yeah,
those
it's
stupid camera
weird.
angles.
They go like
Dude, they
it's like
were doing that during the Stadium Series. I was legitimately like, I couldn't take it. Like I could
there
not take it.
if there
Anytime
was
the Rangers were on the power play or in their zone, they would switch to some stupid camera angle. You couldn't even see
yeah.
the net. You couldn't even see what's
Yeah,
going
I
on.
don't know. They switched to like the behind the net camera angle a lot in the power play. I'm not a huge fan of that one.
No, you can't see anything.
But the biggest thing that pisses me off is when like action is happening and then like I don't know, fucking Brock Nelson is skating to the bench. We gotta fucking zoom out on him skating. Who gives
Yeah.
a fuck about?
Or sometimes they'll do that split screen where Ray Ferraro will talk and then they'll put the game on.
Yeah, I don't want to hear fucking Ray Ferraro or fucking
Yeah,
Emily
like I
Kaplan.
don't.
Like,
We
shut
can
up.
hear him. We don't need to see him.
Yeah, like Emily Kaplan in the middle of the play is like interviewing fucking
Yeah,
Girardi.
interviewing Lavalette in the middle of the
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
It
I'm
is
not.
awful. It's
I'm not
awful.
off. I really don't like Sean McDonough either. I mean, he's no Doc Emmerich, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I could do it. I could do with the broadcast. I just
we
can't
I
stand the
mean,
camera angles, the split screens, the behind the net. It's not how hockey's meant to be
we
watched.
we've got like 4 or 5 games left of MSG, and then when we win the series, it'll probably either be on TNT or
TNT is
or
much better.
ESPN.
I think
Yeah,
games 3 and 4 are on TNT.
yeah, but it's also
Or
on
no, I
MSG.
think one of them's on TBS, but it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be watching it at MSG. But
Yeah, I will.
at least they do the post games. I like the Rangers post game. I'm a big Bobcat fan. I think he does a good job.
Yeah,
Him, Hank,
yeah, I
and
like
John G. You
Hank.
seem like a big John Giannone guy.
I like Hank.
What
John
about
Gino is solid.
John Giannone?
Bill Pito with the MSG 150.
He's been there. That's been going on for a while now.
He's been doing that forever.
Does
He does that too for everything else. I think he does it for the Knicks, Islanders, Devils, right?
Yeah.
He does it for all of them.
Fastest 150 seconds in the
In the
National
Hockey League.
Yeah.
He does. Hey, it's not. That can't be easy. He finishes like right at a 150. Got to give him credit.
I guess he's him.
He is him. Goals. Bill Pito, game 1 goal scorer.
Yeah. You'd be watching any games today?
What, the hockey games? Yeah, I'll watch them. I will. I'll have them on.
Not the Knicks though.
I really don't care about the Knicks. I'll be honest. Not a Knicks fan.
Knicks and 6.
Not that I'm an Islanders fan or a Carolina fan, but like it does affect the Rangers who wins that series, of course. So we're watching that.
Leafs and Bruins again.
Leafs, Bruins. Like to see that. Leafs first round exit again.
Taking Bruins in 7. I think
I think the Leafs are gonna win.
It kind of like now, like the whole schedule is like set up. Like, what would you say are like some like I mean, not including the Rangers series because obviously we have our team in there, but like what are some series that you think could be like pretty good series, or ones that you
Vegas Stars, looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be good.
That's gonna be awesome. Rematch of the conference finals last year.
Yeah, didn't think it's
got. Of course, you mentioned Toronto. It's a good series. I think one of the better series. I'll actually say this. I think the best series is probably Dallas, Vegas. But in terms of the Eastern Conference, I think the best series is Tampa, Florida. I think that's going to be a phenomenal series. I think the rivalry in Tampa, don't sleep on them. Everybody sleeps on them.
I'd say the best 3 series in no order are going to be the Battle of Florida, the Stars, and Vegas Knights. And then personally, like I said, I don't like the Leafs. I don't like their fans. So, and I think the Boston, they have such a big rivalry over the last like 10 years. Would be like the Bruins just keep beating them. So, and Yeah, that should be a fun series to see the Bruins go up against the Leafs again. But
Yeah.
besides that, I mean,
The Western Conference the Western Conference
like
is not as loaded as the
like
East.
what
Like the East, the
the
two
Canucks.
series.
I guess the Jets Avalanche series could be good, but like besides
Yeah.
that, like the Canucks
The
Predator
Canucks
series,
Nashville could be all right because it's the first time for the Canucks that they're kind of a surprise team. They may be able to go on a little bit of a run. It can almost be almost like
Oilers
the Rangers
Kings. I
2
feel like
years
it's kind
ago.
of like a beaten down because they've beaten them the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Same as
it
the
is.
Hurricane
The
series.
Oilers have a lot of pressure on them though.
They do, yeah, and they obviously have
So
that
could the
torrid
Kings
start.
don't really have much pressure. Oilers have a lot.
And obviously, I think the worst
Maybe
series out of any of them is going to be the Islanders and Kings, or Islanders and Canes.
Hurricanes. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the worst.
So
The Islanders also just not that thing against the Islanders, and I'm not trying to jinx it because now then when I watch they'll go playoffs. They just play a very boring style of hockey. There's nothing exciting about the Islanders. They're terrible on
they
special teams.
stink on
They
special
stink.
teams.
They're
They're
not good at
horrid.
anything. They're almost like the Capitals. They
They're
just are
so
not good.
bad. I mean, they might give up more chances on the power play than they do on their penalty kill.
It's possible.
That's how fucking bad they are.
You're not wrong. That's a good way to put it.
I think the Rangers has
Sure.
scored more shorthanded goals against them than they've scored power play goals against the Rangers.
Yeah, I
Year.
mean, the Stadium Series is almost the cherry on top for them.
Yeah.
They blew that. Yeah, I'd say those are the playoffs, the good ones. I don't know. Maybe Vegas, Dallas, Tampa, Florida. Maybe Tampa, Florida. I don't know. It's two very great series. I don't know
I'm
what's
telling you,
won. I think they're interchangeable.
I think you're underrating the Leafs Bruins
I'm not
series.
underrating it. I know Toronto won last year. I just think I have a bad feeling. While I do think the
Who's gonna
Bruins are
win?
limping into the playoffs, I do think Toronto has a good chance. I would not be surprised if it's the same song and dances every year where they just get bounced in the first round. Matthews has this huge season and they just
Good.
get
I don't like that. I hope the Bruins
no, I
win.
know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 6. Or it's 5, 6 games.
No,
It probably will go to 7,
if
but
Bruins Leafs, this series is guaranteed to go 7 games. It's going 7
it'll go to
games.
7. But I just feel like it's gonna be the same result as every year. I don't know if
I
that
hope so. I
takes
like I
a
said,
little bit of the excitement out of it.
I don't like
You just
the
know what's gonna happen.
I think it's funny though, seeing the Leafs like
No, yeah,
getting
it
hopes
is.
up, getting to the end, like, oh, we need to win one more game,
Yeah.
and then they disappoint. But
Call me crazy. I think Tampa might beat Florida.
yeah, I can see that if Bassey gets hot.
Florida, yeah. And Tampa's
That's why we didn't want to play
scary.
Tampa. We didn't want
Yeah.
to play Tampa, and we avoided them till maybe the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah.
And maybe we won't even face them.
Get a rematch.
Oh no, I doubt that. I think the winner of Florida Tampa is going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're going to beat Boston or Toronto.
So then maybe we'll play Tampa in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Maybe a rematch.
Third time's
that's a good thing.
Third time's the charm. So
yeah,
won't happen again. We'll beat them this time.
Yeah.
You want to just do quick what are three? Let's go three keys to victory, and then we can kind of wrap it up. What are 3 keys to victory for the series against the Washington Capitals?
3 keys to victory. Got to capitalize on the power play. That's key number 1. If you don't do that,
no pun intended.
What's the pun? What's the pun?
Really? Come on, Pugs. Say exactly what you just said.
3 keys. Number 1, capitalize on the power play.
Yeah. Capitalize.
I get it.
Sorry.
That was a good one. That's key number 1. We've seen that while they found ways to win this year 5-on-5 with their power play struggling, even Mika going forever without a 5-on-5 goal, it still comes down to the power play, especially where this Washington team likes to win games close. Second key to me is it's Igor. Like, Igor's got to show up. You can't let Charlie Lindgren. If Charlie Lindgren's having a good series, Igor's gonna have to outplay him, which I think we all trust that. Third key. This is like a weird key, but I think in order to get past Lindgren, I saw a stat earlier today. He's right-handed glove side, which is obviously a little bit different. High glove side on Lindgren. I think I saw a stat today, something along the lines of he's allowed the second most high glove side goals in the NHL. So attack the high glove side lefties on the right glove goaltender, which is not very common. that's my third key, a little bit more of a, I guess, an in-depth key as opposed to just two quick things. So capitalize on the power play, no pun intended. Igor's showing up. If Lindgren gets hot, Igor's got to be hotter. And then number 3 is attack the high glove side on Lindgren because that's a weakness of his.
Yeah, I'd say I agree on I'd say the first one for me, kind of agreeing with you, would be because again, obviously, I have faith in this team to be able to score enough 5-on-5. But I mean, if you want to get the series over with quick, you're gonna have to capitalize on the power plays.
Power play,
But
no pun intended.
yeah, but I think that that's a huge thing. Make sure you know what, I'll throw both in special teams. Just be the special. You got to make sure that you play to what you are in special teams and what they are. So dominate special teams. I think that's huge. I think the second thing is make sure that you don't get worn down. Like, don't let the Capitals physically take on you. Like, you got to make sure that you're forechecking hard. Make sure that be gritty. That's what kind of like overall, just be gritty and don't get out gritted. That's a word. But yeah, make sure that they're playing physical and don't take shit, and just make sure that the third one I'd say is put away games. That's a huge key to the series. Don't let them stay into the game. Put the game away. If you go up 2 goals, go up 3 goals. If you go up 3 goals, go up 4 goals. Don't take the foot off the gas and just keep. You can outscore this team, and this series should be over at 4-5.
Yeah, I totally agree with that last point. That might be the biggest key of them all. Capitals love to keep the games close. They love to win close games.
The Rangers do too, but not in a good way.
They do. But you got to put games away. I totally.
I don't want to see any
away.
I don't see any games where we have to tweet out after the game like this team has no quit. I mean,
no quit. I don't quit's good and all, but like
let's not give ourselves heart attacks here.
It's also too to kind of add on to that. The no quit's great, but let's not fall down early. Let's get off to quick starts. Can we not fall down 1-2 goals early in the game? It's great and all to come back, but coming back for that long is no longer sustainable, and it's going to eventually end. You're going to have a game in the playoffs. You're not going to be able to come back. So let's start fast too. Score, score 2 goals in the first period. None of this, falling down after 1-0 or 2-0 and having to come back and have a 3-goal second period. Like, put them away and score early. You score early, 2 goals, add 2 more, 4-0. Put 5-0. Like, just dominate. Dominate this series. These games should not be close. Just destroy them. I guess that's another key. Capitalize and destroy them.
Let's win. Let's win the cup here. Why not us, right? Why not
game us? First win tomorrow. 15 more to go, hopefully. After that,
we'll make a puck board like they do. We'll put in 16 pucks.
16 for 16, maybe 4 sweeps.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that though. I'd take that.
No, I would. I'd be on board. 4 sweeps. Igor doesn't allow a goal.
Yeah, 16 goals, no goal. Or 16 games, no goals. That'd be crazy.
I mean, he could retire right then and there.
Yeah, I think everybody's number should be up in the rafters after that.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts?
Actually, I kind of wanted to mention one more thing.
Yep.
Maybe it's maybe it's like 2 things depending on what you say. But who do you think on the Rangers? And I mean, this is why I'm saying it's probably one thing has the most to prove in this playoffs.
On the Rangers, most to prove?
Yeah.
Good question.
Like, who is the biggest legacy on the line here for the Rangers? Like that. I mean, I feel like it's really obvious.
I feel it's still Panarin, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you said someone else, then I could have said someone else. But I just wanted to kind of also. I was gonna say this is a huge thing for Panarin.
Yeah, I still feel like it's Panarin because he puts up 120 points. He has the 49, 50 goal season. I don't care. You could call it a 50 goal season. Who cares? He fell 1 short. 49 goals, 120 points. Historically good season in Rangers history. Career year. If he goes fall flat and this team would lose in the first round, everybody forget about it. And we'd have the same question about Panarin. Like Panarin, then there's nothing Panarin could do next year in the regular season that would make us feel good, because then we'd still have the same question about the postseason, because he didn't play well in 2022. He didn't play well in 2023. If he doesn't play this year, he can go out next year and score 130 points, and we'd still have the same thing. Got to show up in the playoffs. So
You think that might
yeah, I
get
think
into
he's
his
got the
head?
biggest on the line
You think that will get into his head or no? You think it will? You think it'll work out in
this
his
year.
favor? You think he's like too confident right now, where it'll kind
Um,
of get into his head, or do you think that he might be like thinking like I have to play well, and it kind of gets into his head?
yeah, I could see it. I don't know. I feel like he's had a totally different mindset this year. I think the new coaching staff has really helped him. Felt like Gallant and all that. It just felt like, I don't know. They weren't. He just didn't seem confident. It seemed like they weren't using him the right way. Doing too much. He's got the shot first mentality. Oh, you put pucks on that, they're gonna go in. At some, eventually. He's had a lot of success. I don't know. I don't think there's. I mean, there's always pressure. Hopefully, it doesn't
Yeah.
get to him. I do think this year, though, in the regular season, he had a lot of pressure, because last year he was so bad in the playoffs. We need to see what he could do this year. And then like the regular season, I think there was also a lot of pressure on him. So, not that the fans will cut him any more slack, but maybe some people will cut him a little bit more slack if he struggles early on in this playoffs just because he had a great regular season. But
No,
I
no,
don't think so.
no. I don't think so at all. I think people are like, it's like put up or shut up. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
great, you did well in the playoff or in the regular season, but I would rather have you suck in the regular season and dominate in the
Yeah.
playoffs. I could care less what you do in the regular season. Yeah, it's nice to
Yeah.
have the good ride that we had, but I think that for Panarin's sake, and you know what though, I feel different. Last year I was nervous about him. I wasn't too certain what he would
I
do.
feel confident about him this year.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a huge playoffs and he's gonna shut up everybody. And who knows? Maybe he'll be lifting up the Conn Smythe Trophy.
It's possible. I mean, if there was a guy outside of Igor, it would be him.
I'd say there's only three possibilities. It's either gonna be him, Igor, or Fox. I think more likely
Yeah.
Igor or Fox or Igor or Panarin though.
Do you think make it if he goes on a tear?
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be Igor
Yeah, it probably will be,
if they win.
especially with the 16 shutouts.
I mean, yeah. I mean, how could you not give it to him with 16 shots? What if Panarin has 16 hat tricks though?
Oh my God.
That'd be
Cut it
tough.
in half. Take a chainsaw and cut it in half.
Give it a both. Yeah.
Dude, Panarin at 16.
I mean, this is a crazy thing to say, but I just gonna say it because it's on my mind. I'm not trying to jinx us, but if they win the cup, who gets the cup first? Outside of Truba. I mean, I feel like it's got to be one guy, right? This is another one. It should be one guy.
Probably Kreider, I'd
Yeah.
say. No, Kreider.
I'm sorry for mentioning that. I feel like
Why?
I'm not going to jinx this, but I'm just curious,
Why? Who do you think? I'd say it's Kreider because
Yeah,
he's tenured forever.
And then obviously he's giving it off to who, his boyfriend.
Yeah. So it'd probably go Mika and then
Maybe Panarin. It's crazy that
maybe
we're
Fox.
talking about this. We got to win the series. We got to
Yeah,
win the first.
we haven't even won a game. We haven't even played a game.
Oh my God, imagine we losing the first round after. I'm like, oh,
I can't imagine it.
We'll be handing the cup off first, too. But yeah, I just thought I could say that. I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about as you enter the postseason. Have that confidence.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Hopefully, the next time we talk, Filipino, I just want to say this, we'll be playing Rangers hockey.
Yeah, ideally tomorrow,
After
6
game.
o'clock, 5:45 ish. Ideally tomorrow, Filipino is playing hockey. About
and then just
27 hours from now.
Just kind of like recapping it and everything is we will, like as Bub said, have a post-game show after every game.
Yep.
There might be a little bit of spotty during games 2 and 3. I'm going to the game, so maybe we won't have anything. But as far as me and him, but Bubs, you're gonna have to carry us.
I'll try and carry the load the best I can.
Maybe we'll get like a guest, like maybe I get D-Man to come and fill in for me. If he will, I'll ask him, and maybe he can fill in for me again. Because my college graduation is on Friday, so
look at this guy.
But I think I'll be back in my
slacking in the playoffs.
Listen, I will be watching the game during my graduation, and then my graduation should be over prior to the third period or closer to the end of the game. So hopefully I can get back into my hotel room and watch the game and recap. I don't know if I have to go out to dinner with my family or friends, but I will. You know what? listen, I will make the post game recap videos, like the instant reaction videos for those 2 games. I'll make the one at the game definitely.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get D-Man or someone to fill in. If not, I think you got to do it by yourself. And you can just take on if people join. Just you can get. Well, maybe we'll put people on to talk about the game. But
Yeah.
hopefully those are
We'll
the
be
only 2
taking
games
callers.
that I don't miss
Yeah.
the recaps for.
Can't
But
be
I will.
slacking anymore.
We'll be here tomorrow. Though. We'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll definitely be here tomorrow. Yeah, we'll take calls after the game for those of you that want to call in, share your thoughts on a win, hopefully not a loss. For every game. That's for every game. That's even for the games that he won't be here. We'll be doing live streams, taking calls, comments, whatever you guys got. So yeah, for every game. Hopefully 16 wins. I don't know how many games, 20-something games.
You know what I was just thinking about?
Lines.
You know what might happen actually. Sorry for mentioning this, but during the graduation, there's a chance that maybe the internet won't be working because you ever been in like an arena or something and like you can't really get like sell because everybody's on it. Fuck, dude, I didn't even think about that. Let's just hope that I can watch game 3. Let's just win the first 2 games so that game 3 doesn't mean as much. But
yeah, that'd be ideal. If game 3's like 1-1.
Oh my god, I might have to miss graduation.
I would
Gotta go all the way out to Michigan and be like, oh, sorry, I'll be there. Be there at the end.
But yeah, if game 3's 2-0, I mean, it's
I mean, well, the Rangers were 2-0 leads though, so who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, now any closing thoughts?
Let's go Rangers. That's it.
It's a good closing thought. So that has been episode 30. As always, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you back here tomorrow for a live stream. And again, episode 31 will be after the series, whenever that ends, ideally next Sunday, because that'd be game 4. So you just get out of there with a quick sweep, but we'll see.
Week from today.
Yep. So enjoy the game today. And of course, the big ones tomorrow. Stay tuned. We'll have more content coming your way, and let's go Rangers.